Marsh, and I'm joined with the best big three there ever will be, JD, Garrett, and producer Zach. Trust me, we will not blow a 3-1 lead.
All right. So, big news coming out of Minnesota today as 10 Minnesota football players have been suspended indefinitely, 5 for sabotaging a little kid's snowman making parade, and 5 others for playing in a Pee-wee hockey league over age. And, Minnesota head coach is very upset about what happened. But Gordon Bombay, the head coach of the Minneapolis Pee-wee Mighty Ducks, was saying this. He says, "I'm a lawyer. I'm a hockey coach. I can handle this blank." So, JD, what do you think about Minnesota? Just the players just doing whatever they want in that weather there. They act like they can do whatever they want.
Can I change my bowl pick from Minnesota to Washington State? Can I?
I don't know, man. You may. Producer Zach, should we allow him to change it?
Absolutely not.
Sorry, JD, you cannot. Producer Zach has spoken.
All right, never mind. But
Gordon Bombay, man, what a guy! What a guy!
It's like Bill Belichick. He'll take anybody.
He'll take anybody, and he does what he can. Man. If you haven't seen the Mighty Ducks, you have not lived. You are not an American, even though it's about hockey. But all right, this is Sports Talk with Dylan Marsh. We are not joined with Garrett Factor today. He had some stuff to do. So I am joined, as always, with my brother JD and producer Zach running the boards. And this is a college football podcast, and we're mainly going to be talking about coaching and how that relates to recruiting for next year, because the season's basically over. All we've got left is the bowl games. So, JD, let's go ahead and start talking about some of the hires, and we're going to give our winners and losers of this year's coaching carousel, I guess you could say. And let's go ahead and start with Baylor. Do you think that's a win or a loss for Baylor after the whole situation they had at Baylor for this past year?
Honestly, Baylor, I think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Let's just put that out there. I believe it's a step in the right direction. Mm-hmm. The hire, I love the hire. He's proved that he can take a program to the next level, having back-to-back 10-3 seasons at Temple. Mm-hmm. Who would have thought that Temple...
Well, last year, Temple surprised so many people.
Yeah, but who would have thought that they would have come out again this year, put up a 10-3 record? But all I got to say is, Baylor fans, you better get ready for a little downfall, because you're not going to see the same expectation, or you're not going to see the same excellence you have been seeing under Art Briles. Yeah. So give it... I'm just saying, be patient, Baylor fans, even though you're one of the teams I can't stand. But I'm saying be patient, and good things will come to you, because I believe this guy's going to turn Baylor back around and put them into a winning position.
Patience is a virtue. Look at Penn State. That is a prime example, I actually think. With everything that happened there, they're finally bouncing back. All right, so you think that's a win, and I say that's a win too, because this is something that you have to bounce back from. It's going to be very hard to. I think they'll probably get slammed with some scholarship, restrictions. They're going to be put on like some type of probationary type thing, I'm sure. So with Matt Rule coming in, I think that they're definitely going to change the offense up. They're not, unless he keeps Art Briles' style of offense that he kind of brought into the Big 12 from the Texas High School Football Association, I guess you could say. But if he sticks with that, I think they're going to be fine, because that's the type of offense you have to run in the Big 12 if you want to make a case for a Big 12 championship, especially this coming year, where there's actually going to be a Big 12 championship game. So with that being said, you have to say this is a win, because you just have to get past that. And you can't sit there and say that, Art Briles was a hell of a football coach. He really was. But the way he ran the organization was pretty pitiful, especially all the stuff that he wanted to win so bad that he made sure that he would not hear about this until it was in a very bad scenario. So, top off to Baylor for handling it so well. They handled it a lot better than Penn State did with their sexual harassment cases that they had. Sexual assault, I guess that would be for Penn State. But my hat's off to Baylor for handling that with such class and getting over it really quick. They really seemed they fired him really quick. They made sure they had all the evidence first. And I'm really happy of how that happened. Wasn't a lot of drama. So all right, so yeah, we both say Baylor's a win. So let's move on to our next team, and that's Cincinnati. And Cincinnati fired Tommy Tuberville. If that's not the best name in college football to say, besides what's it Cooter? What's his name? Billy Bob Cooter or something.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, Garrett said it the other day. I think it's Billy Bob Cooter or something. I don't know. But if Tommy Tuberville isn't funnest. Yeah, this shows Benton education right there, folks. The most fun name to say, then I don't know what is. But Tommy Tuberville, a former head coach at Auburn, Texas Tech, and Ole Miss, and also a defensive coordinator, got fired from Cincinnati after going 29-22 his whole tenure there. And they hired Luke Fickell, the longtime Ohio State defensive coordinator. So Cincinnati's showing that they want to stick with their roots and have a great defense. So they hired a defensive-minded guy. And what?
I kind of like the name Luke Fickell.
You like the name Luke Fickell. Why do you like the name Luke Fickell?
Because Fickle is just a funny word.
Zach. All right. But yeah, no, Tuberville really this past year looked like he did not want to be in Cincinnati with yelling at his. Well, the case is when Cincinnati's home crowd boos the team walking off the field because they keep losing, that's a sign that the coach probably needs to go. And then when that happens, the coach yells at some drunk dude to get a job, get a life. You know, and when he does that, I guess it's time to go. So, I say it's a win for Cincinnati. I think Luke Fickell, because of the defense Ohio State's had, we'll see if he's never been a head coach. So we'll see if Luke Fickell is meant to be a head coach. I guess the branches of Urban Meyer are starting to go around the NCAA. So we'll see if there's going to be like another like Saban type-esque coach that just sends great head coaches everywhere.
This hire for me, Dylan, it does not improve because Luke Fickell, I mean, he's 6-7 as an interim head coach.
Yeah.
So it's really, in my eyes, you're not getting any better from Tommy Tuberville. Like, okay, take, for instance, Ed Orgeron. He only lost 2 games.
Yeah.
That's an improvement than what Les Miles was doing all over. Even though they finished with what they probably would have with Les Miles.
Except I think the Florida game would have been different.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
But anyway, I'm considering this as a loss.
Oh, yeah?
For Cincinnati because Tommy Tuberville is just even though, yes, they had problems, and yeah, it probably was time for him to go, but I don't like the hire. I just don't.
Okay. Well, if you actually look at the history of Cincinnati, I have a list right here. These coaches all left University of Cincinnati, and Luke Fickell is kind of an older coach. I don't have his age here, but I've seen him, and he's not very young. All these coaches left University of Cincinnati as like a stepping stone. Mark D'Antonio, Brian Kelly, Butch Jones, all 3 huge head coaches in the NCAA, all left Cincinnati to go somewhere else. So I guess they were hiring an older person, hoping that he would just stay in one spot.
I really was thinking that Brian Kelly was going to be fired this year from Notre Dame.
Hey, you don't know what's going to happen at the end of the season.
And that, in my eyes,
because he does not have control of that football team.
I know, but in my eyes, that would have been a better hire. Have him come back to Cincinnati.
Well, he would want a bigger job.
I know, but
I don't know if he can get bigger at Notre Dame though.
Yeah, but I just believe that would have been a bigger hire if they could have they could have gotten Brian Kelly to come back.
Yeah.
I just like I said, I don't think you're upgrading from Tommy Tuberville. I mean, obviously Cincinnati is a stepping stone, but you want to put your team in the right direction. So I just believe it's a loss.
Okay. All right. I want to hear your thoughts on Lane Kiffin going to Florida Atlantic. Win or loss?
I think it's a win for Lane Kiffin because him having just to be under Nick Saban and the amount of stress that is for him, knowing that he is capable of being a head coach. but I think this is a good place for him. And for Florida Atlantic, I'll call this a win because you have a experienced head coach now.
Yeah.
It might, and when it comes to recruiting, I think that Lane Kiffin being under Nick Saban for 2 years at Alabama, he has gotten a little stepping stone in the Southeast, especially in Florida. Now he has a what?
Woo! Keep going. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, especially in Florida now, he has a stepping stone to where he has some ties a little bit, where he has some familiarity with where good players come from.
Yeah.
And I believe that will help him out in the long run when it comes to recruiting. So I'll give Florida Atlantic a win on this one.
All right, good. I'm going to say it's a huge win, too, because, one, it's Lane Kiffin, and he's 35-21 as a head coach overall. But then you also got to think, yes, he's been a head coach at USC and Tennessee, but this dude was a head coach for the Oakland Raiders. He was an NFL head coach. So you have someone who's been in the NFL, and I think that transitioned very well for the Alabama offense for his coordinating job there. And so I would not be shocked if this Florida Atlantic team actually ends up in the top 25 in a year or two. Would not be shocked. I think it's one of those hires where, people are going to forget about them for about a year or two, and then they're going to show up out of nowhere in the top 25 as like 22 or something. Because, Kiffin knows how to recruit. And I wouldn't be shocked. I was talking to producer Zach about this the other day. I would not be shocked if maybe not like a 5-star, offensive superstar out of high school, but I'm talking about like a 4-star, maybe a 3-star, follows Lane Kiffin, who wanted to go to Bama because he wanted to play for Kiffin. Why wouldn't they go to Florida Atlantic, which is in Florida, in a very nice part of Florida? I'm not completely sure where, but it would be a great attraction. And I'm sure there are some girls that go there, because it is Florida Atlantic. So I would not be shocked if some of them just decide, hey, let's follow Lane Kiffin there, because they bought into his system is why they wanted to go to Bama. Yes, they wanted to go because they thought they'd win a championship every year. But so I think it's a win. I think he's got experience all levels of football. Zach, don't do that to me. What?
I looked up where it was at.
Oh, where's it at?
It's in Boca Raton.
See, Boca Raton. See, that's what it was. I knew it was something. That's like the most expensive place to live in Florida. And if you get to go there on a full ride scholarship, you are set. So I'm going to sit there and say it's a huge win for Florida Atlantic. And like you said, a huge win for Lane Kiffin because his salary. But the thing about this is this shows how much he wanted to be a head coach. He's taking about $5,000 less than he was making in Alabama as an offensive coordinator.
Well,
he's making $950,000 a year for a 5-year deal when it's going to be worth around $4.7 million with incentives. But he's also has Florida Atlantic got a bunch of money. He has a $1.7 million salary pool for his assistants.
You want to know something crazy?
Show me crazy. Sorry, that was dumb.
Talking about the next school we're about to talk about.
Oh yeah,
think about
FIU,
about this rival now.
Yeah, FYU, Florida International.
The recruiting process in Florida is about to heat up heavily between these two schools.
Check where Florida International is.
Butch Davis is one heck of a recruiter.
Yes, we've seen that at
we have
North
seen
Carolina,
that,
Tennessee,
Miami. He never played it. He never coached Miami.
No, I'm thinking of Butch Jones. Yeah, sorry.
But at Miami and North Carolina, he has led them to not stellar seasons, but he has gotten good talent to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And for not playing in a Power 5 conference, this is a perfect – I'm calling this a huge win for Florida International. To be able to keep pace with Louisiana Tech, Western Kentucky, and now Florida Atlantic. Florida International just put themselves in the position to have a chance to win a Conference USA championship now with the recruiting history of Butch Davis and his ability to transform a team.
Yeah, exactly. And just like I said with Lane Kiffin, Butch Davis also a NFL coach. He coached the Cleveland Browns, which definitely wasn't there for 2 years. But what?
It's in Miami.
Okay, so Florida International is in Miami, so that's another great landing spot for recruits. Like you said, he's a great recruiter, and this
79 and 43 in his college career.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to bring up next. I was bringing it 79 and 43, stellar college football career, and he excelled at North Carolina, and even Miami, because they were winning national championships there in Miami.
And another thing is, what an upgrade for Florida International by firing Rod Turner, who had only won 10 games.
10 and 30, and he was the former Illinois coach. That's why you've never heard of him. But with Butch Jones and Lane Kiffin, I would see these kids who play in Florida. They don't have to leave Florida anymore to be successful. I don't think. We're going to have to see. We are kind of jumping the gun here on this Florida International, Florida Atlantic thing. The lower star, like 3 and 4 stars. Recruits who don't want to leave Florida definitely have good coaches coming their way. So we'll see that rivalry heat up, and then maybe if both these teams start to become pretty dang good, we will see Florida, Florida State, Florida International, Florida Atlantic. Watch them start scheduling each other, and watch them to start doing everything they can to get them to stay in the state of Florida to go to either there, even Miami with Mark Richt. See, Florida might now.
Fisher.
Look, you don't even need the SEC anymore. You've got Florida now with great recruiting going on, because Florida definitely has some of the best talent in the country.
Florida, it's always Florida, California, and Texas are the 3 top states for football.
Okay, well, Louisiana produces the most NFL players.
I know, but
that's what they want.
When it comes to a recruiting process for college players, yes, Louisiana produces the most NFL players.
Yeah.
But you have a more variety of great high school football players because the states are bigger than them. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Louisiana is always 4 because they just don't have as many people.
Yeah, I understand. And, well, yeah, so we both agree. Florida Atlantic, Florida International, both wins. The state of Florida got a W, and Alabama just took an L. They might not take an L in the playoff, but they just took an L in losing Lane Kiffin. I really do believe that. I think, because, well...
No.
Okay. No. All right, well, okay. We weren't going to talk about him, but who do you think is going to take the OC job at Bama? Who do you think will it be? You think Saban's going to stay inside the family at Bama, or he's going to go outside?
I think he's going to stay inside the family for 1 year. And like we were talking about, Dylan, I think he's going to go try to steal... How you're telling me Lincoln Riley wants to stay till...
Yeah, no. He promised Baker Mayfield he was going to stay. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He'll stay in the Bama family for 1 year, and then he's going to throw some money. He's going to have some money thrown at Lincoln Riley to come be the offense coordinator at Alabama.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say this is an L. You already agree with me. You don't even know what I'm talking about. Georgia State fired their coach who went 9 and 38. And they hired Sean Elliott, who's 1 and 5. So that is a big L right there for Georgia State. So
I'm handing them an L.
Oh, modern day memes. All right, so now we're moving on to a big one here, where Tom Herman left the University of Houston, and everyone thought Lane Kiffin was going to be hired at Houston, but of course Lane Kiffin asked for way too much, so they went ahead and stayed inside the family there in Houston and hired old Texas quarterback who got beat up by Oklahoma all the time, but has one great name, Major Applewhite. And he has proven as an offensive coordinator that he definitely knows how to control an offense and maybe not keep it that consistent, but definitely knows how to prepare for big games, as we saw against Oklahoma with Greg Ward Jr. and how well he played against Oklahoma, and just the whole Houston team just played very well. But yeah, I say it's a loss definitely, because Tom Herman was a pretty good coach. He wasn't that proven 22-4, but he went to his dream job and they stayed within. They couldn't land Kiffin. Les Miles interviewed for the job, but they weren't going to take him. But they stayed inside. Right now, I'm saying it's a loss just because he's not very known. He's definitely not. They're giving him a chance to be a head coach. He's not proven, never been a head coach. So, I'm saying it's a loss right now just because of the loss of Tom Herman. But Major Applewhite, the offense was ranked in the top 25 in 2015, contributed to 2 impressive seasons for the Cougars, and he has plenty of local ties in Texas like high schools. So he's gonna be able to recruit pretty well, especially in East Texas with John Tyler, wherever he's recruiting, where Greg Ward Jr. is from. They're getting a great quarterback from John Tyler High School. So I think they're going to be okay, but they definitely lost Herman. It's a big deal.
I'm okay. If you lose Herman, it's a big deal. But from reports, Major Applewhite was their future guy. That even if they would have brought in Kiffin was only going to be there for a couple years. They were going to eventually go to Major Applewhite.
Yeah. So basically, they promoted him from major to lieutenant.
Yeah, it's a win in my opinion, because once again, Major Applewhite is another one of, like you said, Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
So I believe that he's going to be just fine. It might not be how Houston has been these past couple of years, but all in all, he has the offensive vision to get the recruits.
Yeah.
Especially out of Houston. All them boys that want to stay home close to mom, he's got them.
Okay. I hear him. And in Texas, that's a big deal. Family. It's God football family, or God family football, or football God family. I don't know what the order is. It depends what city you go to. But what, Zach? Yeah, I can't hear you from inside the box, dude. All right, so now we're going to move on to something that's going to tick producer Zach off. We're going to talk about the LSU Tigers. And like I've said before, I like the hire of Ed Orgeron, but I think it's a big loss for LSU. Well, one, because they fired the
winningest coach in program history.
Yes, and I think he had like a 0.78 something winning percentage. And they whiffed on Jimbo Fisher, and then they whiffed on Tom Herman, so they went with their third choice, which was Ed Orgeron, which everyone wanted, like the fans and the players. But, that's what these people are there for. This is what the athletic director's for, and why the president helps out. It's because they're looking they're looking for the better percentage. What?
Les Miles had a 77% win.
Exactly.
Win percentage.
He was 114-34 for as the Oklahoma State head coach and LSU head coach.
No, that was LSU.
Oh, was it just LSU?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it says Oklahoma State. But he was the winningest coach at LSU. 2 national titles, 3 appearances, and
he didn't win 2 national championships. He only won 1.
No, he won 2. He won 1 against Ohio State, and
he won it in 07 and 11.
Yeah, 07 and 11. That's right.
No, they didn't win in 11. They got swacked by Bama.
No. He's won 2. I'm pretty sure.
The one they lost was 13 against Bama.
They didn't play Bama in 13.
Wait, no. You're right. Jeez, I'm thinking of Nick Saban. I'm thinking of 2003. See, I try to block out the whole Oklahoma losing that game. That's what that is.
What game?
LSU. Yeah, see, you do it too. Me and you both do it. God, I hate that. Oh, living in Louisiana sucks. All right, but with Ed Orgeron, what you're getting is a good recruiter in the state of Louisiana and maybe around Mississippi and Alabama, where they all have, where you go talk to him, you can somewhat understand him. So, with that being said, you got Ed Orgeron driving around in his Hummer all around Louisiana and recruiting. And he can get kids from Louisiana easily. But then when you go to like places like Florida or Georgia or on the East Coast like South Carolina, these places where they seem to produce like the best athletes. Maybe not best player at the position, but athletes.
They need a Cajun translator.
Yeah, exactly. So, in Ed Orgeron, we'll see how it goes. He's a great motivator, but with Lane Kiffin going to Florida Atlantic and not becoming that offensive coordinator, LSU is they were putting all their chips in to get Lane Kiffin. So, yes, they're keeping Dave Aranda, but with Lane Kiffin not coming to LSU, like I said, they put all their chips in on him. So now they don't know what to do. Who are they going to hire? Like, who's going to be there? If you bring up Lincoln Kelly or
Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley again.
You're an Oklahoma fan.
I'm sorry. No, I was thinking of Brian Kelly, seeing if he was getting fired. But it's like, who are they going to pick up now? Because they hired their last. They fired. You think they bring in Art Browse? Do you think LSU, with the way they run, very disciplined? Do you think they bring someone in who has that history of the sexual harassment stuff that quick. Maybe let it die for a couple of years. Do you think they bring him back that quick?
Do you think the fans of LSU really care about that? Do you think they?
I'm pretty sure
do
they
you
would.
think they care more about a coach that has sexual assault history? Not personally saying him, but with his players and him not doing anything about it, or do you think they care more about bringing home a win over Alabama in a national championship? Zach, go. What's more important to you?
I would much rather. I don't.
See, he doesn't even know.
No, as an LSU fan, I wouldn't want a coach in there that has sexual harassment, like as a background, because I wouldn't want.
Well, not him personally, just him not wanting to know about which of his best players were being charged with sexual harassment.
But
that's basically what happened. His best players, like Sean Oakman and a bunch of Sean Oakman, that scary guy. Everybody, like him and a couple others, were being investigated and got arrested for sexual harassment charges. And basically, what happened there was that he basically told the athletic director and everyone to basically he created a system to where people finding out would go from someone at the bottom and he would be at the very top. So basically, you have to go through so many people to get to him. So if it was like a very, very bad situation, he would find out about it instead of just learning that they did something wrong and not suspending them. So he would be able to say, "I had no idea," type of thing. So basically, he did that to himself. So I don't think LSU would hire someone that quick, like this quick, after 1 year.
I mean, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want a coach.
But okay, all aside though, like if we're just looking for what's the best hire for the football program, in my eyes, it would be Art Briles.
Exactly, because that's the type of offense
that
that
LSU
Ed
needs.
Orgeron wants and that LSU needs. But there are plenty of other coaches out there who run that same
Or how
offense.
about this?
And you
What
wouldn't really
if
want that
Sorry, go ahead, Zach.
I said you wouldn't really want that name on you, like
Exactly.
that you would just hire someone that quick just because you.
What-
wanted to put
Yeah.
on the team.
let me ask you this. What if Chip Kelly gets fired from the 49ers and Ed Orgeron talks to Chip Kelly about coming being his offense coordinator, making more money than Ed Orgeron as the offense coordinator?
That's the thing. Well, Chip Kelly's already said he doesn't want to go back to college, which I see a pride thing going on there, saying, I'm in the NFL, I do not want to go back. He's probably one of those prideful people. You can even look at him and kind of tell.
Nick Saban said he wouldn't go back to college. Jim Harbaugh said he wouldn't go back to college.
I don't think Jim Harbaugh ever said he wouldn't come back. He said he wasn't going to go for Michigan, but of course he did.
See,
But this is what I'm saying. But if you look at Chip Kelly and you see what he's doing with the 49ers or what he did with Philadelphia and how people were actually praising him. And Jim Harbaugh's different. Because Jim Harbaugh went to Michigan. It meant something to him. What would LSU mean to Chip Kelly? Nothing. So would you rather keep an NFL job as even a coordinator in NFL, or would you rather, because if you're a head coach in the NFL and you go to the NCAA and become an offensive coordinator, you would think people are just laughing at you, which might not happen, but it's such a downgrade because you were in control of a multi-billion-dollar basically industry with the San Francisco 49ers. Then now you're basically only in control of calling the offensive plays, not making any big decisions, and you're not even really in control of anything except recruiting. So that's why I don't think he's going to go anywhere unless something just bad happens and he's going to get a head coaching job. So I'd throw Chip Kelly out of the mix, but with Chip Kelly, that would be a great situation for the Tigers. But I just don't see it happening. And Ed Orgeron, I think, is going to hire someone who's going to basically do something like Art Briles or Lane Kiffin with the spread offense and the fast-paced offense with a scrambling quarterback who can throw and to run, which they don't have. So, that's why I'm saying Art Briles would be a good hire. I just don't think they're going to do that just yet. So I don't know who they're going to try to get after that. So, maybe they'll try to go after Lincoln Riley or something like that. But I'm sorry, Zach. What'd you say? Yes.
I said, what about them going after Oregon's head coach that they just fired?
Mark Heffler? No.
I don't know.
No, because he tried to change Oregon from what Chip Kelly had because he had Chip Kelly's recruits. And he somewhat tried to change it up, and that's why they didn't do so well, especially on defense. So I don't think that'd be good. So LSU, I'm saying it's a loss because they are really lost now with Lane Kiffin at FAU.
I agree that it's a loss for LSU. I like the hire because he is a great motivator, but with them waiting around so long to hire a offensive coordinator,
yeah,
I don't see why they waited so long. But I say it is a loss because now, like you said, who are they going to hire an offensive coordinator?
And it's really hurting the recruiting.
Yes. Think about all the players now in the next couple of weeks that say they're making their commits before they sign. Think about what that's going to do. Oh, you don't even have an offensive coordinator right now. Why would I bring my 5-star wide receiver talent to you? Why would I bring my 5-star?
If you're a wide receiver or quarterback, you shouldn't go to LSU.
Why would I bring my 5-star running back talent to you?
Zach, you look like you're sweating there. You got something to say? Come on, producer Zach. Show us your LSU fanship.
No, it's just like since Les Miles got fired, we had I think it was a 4-star quarterback that decommitted, and then there was just one that within the last week.
Yeah, well he
was a 3-star.
He decommitted because Lane Kiffin wasn't going to show up there, and it's the same reason.
You can't handle the truth.
I know.
It's okay. He's still got Danny Etling. All right, so
he's gone.
What?
He's a senior. He's gone.
No, he's a junior.
What?
Yeah, he's back. He's coming back next year. But Etling's the best they've got. But if they bring something,
Brandon Harris transferring.
Oh, is he transferring? Where's he going?
There's a good possibility he might be going to Louisiana Tech.
So Brandon Harris is he's got an L for that one. From going from Louisiana to Louisiana Tech. Basically like Jeff Driscoll.
I actually think he might do kind of good at Tech.
Well, of course he will because he's used to SEC defenses just like Jeff Driscoll.
Okay, good point.
Okay, Dylan, I'm just saying it'd be a great fit for him.
Hey, Tech is only like 30 minutes from here. We watched him in high school. We could watch him in college now too, for a lot cheaper.
Nah, but I can save gas and watch him on TV too. Oh, JD, we don't care. All right, let's move on to the next team for who hired a new coach, and that is the Nike Foundation University, also known as the Oregon Ducks. Their free, basically, Nike sponsorship with all their fancy uniforms after they got rid of the person that just ruined the Oregon name and Mark Helfich and hired Willie Taggart from University of South Florida, which I'm actually going to say is a win for Oregon. I really like this hire just because you can see that they're trying to get back to their old ways. And I'm not saying Chip Kelly leaving was the reason that Oregon fell off the wagon. The reason they fell off the wagon is because you're not going to have another quarterback like Marcus Mariota for a very long time. You know, yes, you can get someone with the familiar skill set, but you're not going to get someone with that work ethic and that attitude. So Marcus Mariota leaving for the draft was a huge, basically an impact for Oregon, and they not been the same since. But I think they're going to get back on this track because University of South Florida with Willie Taggart there, he's been one of those guys who's shown he's got potential. He's not very old. But I'm going to say it's a win because I want to see Oregon succeed. I've always liked them seeing succeed. I was rooting for them against Auburn and Cam Newton, basically because LaMichael James was from around this area in the Arklatex. But, you know, they weren't really a big thing for a while, and then it just fell off. And I hate seeing those type of teams. But I've really liked what I've seen in South Florida these past couple of years, rising up, being ranked in the top 25 every now and then. Now he's got all this recruiting talent to work with. He's just got to definitely work on that defense, which has been awful, this dreadful in Eugene. So I'm going to say it's a win because I see a lot of promise in it, and the players are actually excited that they got a new head coach.
I'm going for a loss on this one.
All right.
How much are they paying him, Dylan?
Oh man,
they didn't did they throw the $10 million at him?
No.
Okay.
No, they were looking for a Lane, maybe not even a Lane Kiffin. They were looking more of like a Nick Saban or a, even like a Bob Stoops or just a person who's won a national championship, basically, who knows how to win to go there to get the $10 million. I'm sure he's getting close to like maybe 2 or 3, maybe.
Okay, well,
Phil Knight loves to spend that money. He has.
I don't think, kind of like how Who was it that I said earlier?
But while he looks for that, Phil Knight has so much money, he doesn't know what to do
like
with
Cincinnati to me. I think that this hire just doesn't improve your program at all. Willie Taggart, only 24 and 25 in his career at his tenure at South Florida.
Yeah.
That's not impressive at all to me. I feel like they just were so desperate to get a new head coach that they just went and found the body that just went in place.
Who was the head coach of South Florida when they were ranked in like the top 5 back in the day? See, I cannot find that, but he had to back that up. And you're the University of South Florida, to where like what I said is going to be very difficult for FAU and FIU to get recruiting, because you're dealing with Miami, Florida, and Florida State to keep the in-state players. So it's going to be a very hard, transition for someone to succeed at the University of South Florida, which they've continually gotten better.
I'm telling you right now that it's going to be kind of a culture shock to Willie Taggart.
Think so?
Think about how he has to recruit differently in Oregon than he did down in Florida. There's different cultures, and he has to go to California.
Well, JD, this is the thing. Think about it. It's Oregon. It's the University of Oregon, and
everybody has cool uniforms now.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I think the attraction to Oregon is. One, that, like you said, they are the college for Nike, because that's where Phil Knight graduated, CEO of Nike. And it doesn't. I don't think it matters that everyone has cool uniforms. I don't think uniforms are a very big deal. I think that's something that they like. That, hey, I can wear something different all the time instead of going to Bama and wearing the same red and white. Of course, Bama, that doesn't affect Bama because Bama's Bama. But let's say if you want to go to a team like Penn State. They want to keep it. They want to keep it old school because they want to keep a classic attitude and culture there. But when you go to Oregon, it's Eugene, Oregon, which is a pretty decent place, close to Seattle, where there's a bunch of stuff to do. You got these cool uniforms, a really different looking stadium that always gets rowdy and loud. They've had a history of great NFL players in the NFL now, right? A few of them. And they've proven that they can produce NFL players. So I don't think it's going to be a tough transition or a culture shock. I think recruiting it's not going to be easy, but it definitely helps going to Oregon because yes, the uniforms, but then also the NFL alumni that they have, Nike, Phil Knight there, just basically feeling like no matter what, they have someone there for them. If you're the NCAA, don't sit there and fact check me on that one or whatever, but just, it's just it's going to be a different culture, but it's definitely going to be easier because they have so much more to offer than USF.
All right. Well, let's just move on.
What do you not think that USF?
If you're Oregon, I just believe that Butch Davis would have been a tremendous hire for Oregon, in my opinion. They should have gone after Butch Davis.
Okay, but listen to this. I can't believe I'm getting into this, but Willie Taggart is an African American. When's the last time you saw an African American coach at Oregon?
Why are you bringing up the race?
I'm not. I'm just saying. I think that's going to help recruiting too, because JD, of course, you're going to sit there and think that because you go on to ESPN and even you have Stephen A. Smith freaking out about how there aren't as many black NFL coaches or just stuff like that, and I think this is a great hire, but then also I think Oregon was putting that into the picture too. I really do, but I don't see how you think different football is football. No matter where you go in the United States.
Doesn't matter what race you are. If you know how to coach, you know how to coach.
Exactly.
If you know how to recruit,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I know. I'm just saying that I believe that, yes, I agree with you. Okay.
What, that football is football? Everywhere you go in the country?
No, I'm agreeing with you that he's going to have more resources, but just the way it's going to be bad for a couple years at Oregon.
I'm going to write that down.
I just believe that a couple years, for the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be bad.
Okay.
He's going to have to learn how to recruit
I think
that area.
Honestly,
hard.
we're talking about recruiting. Like I said, recruiting's fine. They're going to get athletes there. What Oregon really needs is a defensive coordinator. And
He's not that.
that's what I'm saying. He needs a defensive coordinator. And that's what Oregon's problem was this year. They could put up some points, not a lot. But their defense, I think, was ranked in the 110s in the country. And that's why Phil Knight said, I'm old, I want a championship. So just imagine how much money they pay an assistant. I think Oregon's going to be fine. Yes, there might be a 1 year of transition, but not a few years. I think Oregon's going to be back in about 2. I feel like we've spent a lot of time on Oregon.
Yeah.
But what's our next game? I see. We have
Skip Temple?
Skip Temple. We don't want to talk about that. But no, let's go to the big one here. The one that me and you absolutely hate. And that's the University of Texas. Firing Charlie Strong, who went 16-21 there, and they hired, of course, who we talked about earlier, the Houston head coach and Tom Herman. So, Jay, do you think this is a win or a loss?
I think you already know. I think this is a win for
You think
Texas. The way Tom Herman recruits and him being a Texas native is a huge step, and just his history. I think this is the best hire of the 2016 coaching carousel.
Really?
I believe it won't be this year, maybe not next, but I guarantee you by year 3 of his contract, he will start turning Texas, the state of Texas, back into the Longhorn State instead of it turning into the Aggie State in the recruiting realm. I think think about this. Texas is still the most beloved college program in the state of Texas.
Of course, it's in the capital.
A&M hasn't taken that over. And even though they want to go play in the players, 5 stars, 4 stars from Texas want to go play in the SEC, they also want to play for a coach that shows so much emotion.
Yeah,
And,
like we talked about
yes.
a couple of podcasts ago. Yeah.
And I just believe that Tom Herman's going to be able to turn this program around, and I am scared to death of it, Dylan. As an Oklahoma fan, I am scared to death because it's going to
Embrace the challenge, Judy. Embrace the challenge. Get rid of Bob Stoops and embrace the challenge.
get rid of Bob Stoops and hire Lincoln Riley.
Okay, keep going.
But I believe this is a great hire for Texas.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a win too, but I will sit there and say, yes, Charlie Strong had a shot, but he didn't have a.
They really didn't give him enough time.
He did not have enough time to prove himself because, yes, Mac Brown. I don't want to say he just gave up on the Longhorns, but he let it go downhill for a couple of years, pretty bad, and it ruined their recruiting. And with Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M, really, basically becoming the star of the country, and basically being, I don't want to say the the sweetheart of college football, because he was a party boy, but when players see him doing that stuff at Texas A&M. And that really took away from the University of Texas because A&M was starting to become really flashy. Brand new uniforms, just got an SEC, first freshman to win the Heisman. And, that really took away from Texas, and that really hurt Mac Brown, especially at his age. You had a young coach in Kevin Sumlin, promising coach from Houston, who came and just really took over the Texas A&M coaching job and just ran with it and did really well. And that really put Texas in a gutter, I guess you could say. And I think Tom Herman, the coach that basically treats his players like family. He gives every single one of his players a kiss on the cheek before the game. Shows that he loves them and he appreciates them. Even the players who are never going to step foot on the field, he loves and appreciates them. And like I said, I'm scared to death too.
Getting grills made.
Yeah, spending $1 million on a grill all because they beat, who was it, Ole Miss?
No, Florida State.
Florida State. They destroyed Florida State, so he got a grill. He promises players, if we beat this team, I'll buy a grill from Paul Wall. I don't even know who that is.
Rapper.
A rapper? Okay. But with that being said, Texas, that's the thing. Like, Texas was still a top 25 recruiting class, and they still couldn't do anything with it with Charlie Strong. So I think that's why they're very, very impatient with Charlie Strong. So with Tom Herman and his offensive philosophy, I think is going to help the Longhorns. I'm not saying they're going to be a Big 12 contender next year, because there's always a 1 year rebuilding phase basically. So might not happen, but I can see it happening to where next year is going to be Oklahoma and Oklahoma State again in the Big 12 championship, which I love that they moved that game back to November 4th, and so we wouldn't have a back-to-back Oklahoma State game. But I say it's a win. Tom Herman, this is going to be him. This is going to see if he can prove himself. Maybe he'll be the next Mac Brown and stay there for another 25 years, because this was his dream job. And he's a great recruiter. He knows how to get into the the family aspect of it. Really helps the parents influence the kids too.
Another thing about his recruiting, just seeing how he could get Ed Oliver to stay in Houston.
Exactly.
Stay home.
Exactly.
Shows me that is my main reason why I can see him turning Texas.
And with him leaving, Ed Oliver was like, he actually said this on Twitter whenever he announced he's going to Texas. He was like, man, screw it. I'm going to the NFL. Which I thought was just really funny.
Yeah.
And it shows how much the players love him. So, I'm very, like you said, I'm very strong of Texas.
Oliver transfers to Texas.
Yeah, well, you'd have to sit out a year. You might as well go ahead and go to the NFL. So, all right, let's move on to our last couple, and we're going to talk about USF with Willie Taggart going on to be the head coach at Oregon. USF took Texas head coach Charlie Strong.
I like this hire.
You like it? All right, tell me why.
Because Charlie Strong has Florida ties. He's coached there. He has recruited there. And with it not being a Power 5 school, but it being a top tier, I would say it's a Division I school. Like, you're going to get the best that the rest didn't get, I would say. And I just believe Charlie Strong will be able to finally get the guys he wants in the place. He's finally going to start it over. And this is where I believe he will turn South Florida around, and he will make them a notable program. Not like just Alabama type.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm talking
a respectable program.
A respectable program.
Yeah.
Where you can't take them lightly.
Did you draw devil horns on Tom Herman earlier? I forgot about that. Did you? Did you actually do it? Wow.
Boomer.
Oh my God. All right. Well, possibly. We never know. We'll see how he does at the University of Texas. But yeah, I like Charlie Strong being hired too. Yeah, it was a great. I think this is one of the jobs he really wanted. I think because his Florida ties, he's really going to. This is another thing that's going to. Florida is going to be a roller coaster for every single Florida athlete there, because if they want to stay at home, they have so many options, because almost every single college in Florida has a great football coach now. And so don't be shocked if no one has any Florida players anymore. So we'll see how that goes with Charlie Strong. I don't have too much to say about it. Like I said, I think he was let go too early at Texas, but he's 53-37. And when he coached for Louisville, I think 7 starters of Teddy Bridgewater's senior or his last year there when they played Florida in the Sugar Bowl. He had 7 Florida players who started for him for the Cardinals. So you definitely see that, he knows Florida. So, I think it's a good hire. And now we're going to move on to Conference USA, and I'm shocked that he actually left for this job. And Jeff, is it Brom? Brom. Jeff Brom. He left Western Kentucky and went to Purdue.
Thank God.
Purdue, where the only alumni there is just Drew Brees. I don't know who else has gone to the NFL from Purdue.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
And so they bring in Mike Sanford, the former Notre Dame and Boise State offensive coordinator who he worked under Washington head coach Chris Peterson. And which I'm going to say is a loss because Jeff Brom, 30-10 with Western Kentucky, really dominating the Conference USA. I know you don't like that because of Louisiana Tech, but that's a big loss there. He's trying to move on, I guess, by going to Purdue.
Thank you.
The Boilermakers of Purdue. He left the Hilltoppers. Well, he must not just like regular mascots. But, yeah, I say it's a loss. Sanford never been a head coach. I guess this is a good stepping stone for him to see where he's going to be. Because it's not huge competition in a Conference USA. Like it's not like stepping in with no experience as an SEC head coach.
Hey, you don't know about them dogs, all right?
Them what?
Them dogs.
You see what tech education does to you? But yeah, I think this is a loss.
Yeah, it's a loss for me too. Jeff Brom was just an excellent coach. And just year after year watching what he did to Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
I have all respect for him, and when I saw him leave, I raised my hands in just awe, saying, Thank you, Lord, because now Tech might actually finally
get that conference championship.
It seems like they can never win it, Dylan. Basketball, baseball, and I'm just sick and tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll get it next year.
All right, well, we've talked about coaching. We've talked about recruiting. How far along are we in this podcast?
51 minutes.
All right, 51 minutes. So let's go ahead. Zach, bring up the bowl games. And we're going to go ahead. We're going to give our 3 locks of the bowl season. Our blowout game lock.
You got to give a prediction of the score, too.
All right. A blowout game lock. A down-to-the-wire lock. And the biggest statement win lock for the bowl season. So Zach slowly gets these up there. Gets these games up there. Jay, go ahead, and what's going to be your biggest blowout lock game?
Well, not a surprise here, Dylan. I got Alabama steamrolling Washington, and my predicted score is going to be 41-3.
41-3.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you want to debate this for a second? No, we don't have to debate it. We'll do that some other time. When it gets closer, we'll do it. And I will. I
would love to debate it with you. I would love to debate you on this.
Peachy, JD. You get it? Peachy. Because they're playing in the Peach Bowl.
How can you sit there and say that Washington is going to get even close to scoring any points on the greatest defense Nick Saban has ever had?
Folks, in about 3 weeks, we will have that argument.
Why? Explain to me. What is your logic? I know Chris Peterson, he is the Mad Hatter that is not Les Miles and throwing trick plays out there and everything. But
trick plays have nothing to do with it. I'm saying that could be something to help.
I'm just saying Alabama is a well-oiled machine, and their defense is just the best defense I've ever seen in college football. And I just do not see anybody scoring on them.
Okay. Well, first off,
especially
USC,
Washington.
The first game of the year.
Yeah. Okay. Let me point that out.
Okay.
How does?
How about you let me talk there, big boy? All right. Listen to me. USC was the first game of the year, and a lot of people are comparing that game to this game. One, that does not matter right now. When you have a quarterback like Jake Browning, who is actually pretty good, I don't care who he's gone up against. You can just look at him and tell he's going to be a decent backup quarterback in the NFL. But still, he's a great college football player. And USC, yes, they have Juju Smith-Schuster, but they don't have the skilled players that Washington has. And a lot of SEC teams, besides maybe Texas A&M with Speedy Noel, have skilled players like Washington. I've watched this team, Jay, and you say they have a well-oiled defense. This offense, consistent all season long until they went up against USC. And I just think, JD, that this whole SEC hype, and you sitting there and telling me that it's going to be a 40-3 steamroll. JD, this is the playoff. This isn't a Week 11 game. This is the playoff. It's basically everyone's going to leave everything out there on that field, which
Michigan
means
State left it all out on the field against them last year.
Okay, JD. If you put Michigan State up against Washington right now, I think Washington
this year's team or last year's team.
Last year's Michigan State team against this year's Washington team.
Michigan State would put up a damn good fight against
This is why you never win money whenever you gamble on games, JD. Really. You really don't. Because you sit there and you think of this SEC hype stuff, and, with this game, that stuff doesn't matter anymore. I don't care about Bama having the best defense. This is about who wants it more, honestly. I'm sitting there thinking that Washington's going to come in and they're going to... Yes, Saban he's been quoted saying, we're coming prepared. Of course they are. But, Jay, I am just, like I said, I would not be shocked if Bama blows them out. But in my mind right now, what I'm thinking is that everyone's just overlooking Washington because Bama's just been blowing people out, and they have a sensational freshman. He's a freshman, isn't he? He's not, redshirt or something?
I think he's a junior.
I don't know. But with Jalen Hurts, yes. My worry about Washington is their defense. Their offense is not I think their offense is going to be fine because they really haven't gone up against an offense of style like Washington's. And, maybe Nick Saban's find out everything against Washington. Maybe they have. But, JD, with this Washington game going up against Bama, it's just one of those games where you cannot just sit there and say it's going to be a steamroll. Because last year, with Michigan State Bama, I don't remember anyone saying this was going to be a steamroll. Michigan State got lucky last year. Almost lost to Michigan. And no one was saying this. Is it just because it's Washington? Because it's a team that just this year hopped into the top 25 and just started, basically just exploded onto the scene. I think everyone's saying this because they've never seen Washington. Michigan State is a traditional power. Washington is not, except in the 90s when they won a championship. You're basically feeding off what the media is feeding you, JD.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No,
because everyone in the media is sitting there saying Bama's going to destroy them. And it's because they're a traditional... Yes, JD, I get that this might be one of Bama's greatest teams ever.
Okay, don't tell me this. What is the strength of Washington's offense? Tell me that.
Jake Browning in the passing game. And what is Bama's weakness? Their secondary.
No, it is not.
Oh, my God. Yes, it is,
No,
JD.
it is not, dude. This is the best secondary.
All right, don't put yourself. Calm down a little bit.
This is the best secondary Nick Saban has had at Alabama. The reason why...
Better than when Landon Collins was there.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
You want to know why?
Keep going.
You want to know where it's getting proved? It's because Bama's pass rush that's been dominant over the years is even better because the quarterback cannot find anybody.
So basically, their secondary is better because of defensive line? That does not make sense.
No. Their defensive line, their pass rush has gotten better.
Hey, turn his microphone down. Jeez, he's yelling way too loud. Go ahead and turn it down all the way. It was a joke, JD.
Okay.
Don't get your panties in a wad.
Their defensive line looks better this year because their secondary is not allowing those receivers to get open. So,
or do you think Jonathan Allen's not making their defensive line look better?
Their quarterback can't find anybody to throw the ball to.
You're slowly making me want to actually put money on something with you.
Okay, put some money down.
I don't know, but like I said, I would not be... Okay, we'll think about it. We'll do this.
I will take the spread with you.
All right, JD, so who is... Like I said, I still don't know what that means.
Okay, if Alabama's a 28-point favorite or something, I bet Alabama wins by 28.
I would actually take that because I know it's not going to be a blowout. All right, so let's go ahead and move on so we can end this.
Who is your blowout lock?
Zach, keep going down. It's not really a big, like, I don't think it might be a New Year's Six game. I forgot which bowl game it was. Keep going. All right, stop. Go back up. It's the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl because Southern Miss definitely improved, and you saw that in the Conference USA. They've gotten a lot better. All right, and working here at the station, I've worked a lot of Louisiana Lafayette games where I have to sit here and listen to that team. And with Anthony Jennings from LSU, who is doing worse at UL Lafayette than he ever did at LSU. So my blowout lock is easily the R. I know no one cares about it. I'm just making sure that I do get it. But yeah, I'm picking the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl with Golden Eagles just destroying the Raging Cajuns.
Okay.
So, all right, down to the wire. Explain to me what you meant by this. Like, The game that's going to go down to the wire?
Yeah, the game that you think that's going to come down to like a last-second field goal or a last-second touchdown with like a minute left, and it's just going to be that game that everybody
talks
about as the best bowl game of this bowl season.
Okay.
I'll let you go first on this one.
All right, go back up, bud. It's definitely going to be one of the New Year's Six games. I'm actually going to say it's going to be. It's going to be Ohio State Clemson. I think the defenses of that team. It's not going to be a high scoring game at all. I think Urban Meyer and the Ohio State defense is going to keep Deshaun Watson in check. If they can keep Baker Mayfield in check like they did, especially further on in this season, I think Brent Venables is definitely going to keep J.T. Barrett in check. I think that it's going to be a defense. It's going to be a defensive game, and I say that's going to be my down to the wire game. But I think that's the one game I'm looking forward to the most, to actually sit down and watch. That's going to be the game. Say if someone's up by 20 at halftime, I'm not going to stop watching it because anything can happen with these two teams. I'm really happy that these two teams actually met up in a playoff like this. But yeah, That's my down to the wire. And
all right, my down to the wire lock of this bowl season is the Orange Bowl. I have Florida State squeaking by Michigan.
Okay.
Because the way Florida State ended the year and the way Michigan ended the year, they both went in opposite directions.
Yeah.
Florida State ended hot. Because Florida State's defense turned it around at the end of the year.
Are you about to say Michigan ended cold just because they lost Ohio State?
No, I'm saying from fans' expectations.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that loss to Ohio State and that loss to Iowa brought Michigan down to earth a little bit.
Okay.
And I think this is going to be a brutal defensive ball game. And I say Dalvin Cook has over 100 yards and puts it in the end zone with about a minute 50 left, and Florida State wins the game 21-17.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm going to pick Clemson to win that game. You didn't give me a chance to say that. Score, when I said low scoring, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be like very low scoring. I'm going to say Clemson wins about 24-21. I'm going to say it's going to be a 3-point ball game. I think I don't know about the score exactly, but I say it's going to be a 3-point ball game. But my biggest statement win is actually going to be Michigan beating Florida State. Not in a dominant way, but more of a way of like, you know what? I'm going to change. Actually, I'm going to change that. I'm going to change the. Okay, go down. I'm going to say Penn State. I'm going to say Penn State goes into the Rose Bowl and plays USC. Is that where USC plays? The Rose Bowl?
No, that's UCLA.
Okay. Well, still in their hometown.
Yeah.
I say Penn State goes into Los Angeles and really makes a statement saying, we are the Pac-10 champions. And I don't agree. I don't agree that they should have gotten into the playoff, at least, over Ohio State. Say if Ohio State lost to Michigan, then yeah, maybe. But with Penn State feeling like they got snubbed, and a lot of people feel like they did just because they won a conference championship. Go them, because this is great for them to bounce back from that whole Jerry Sandusky incident, right? And why do you have a pin in your mouth? I'm sorry, that just bothers me. I don't know why. I'm sorry, but just because where'd you get that pin from?
Just
exactly. But still, with James Franklin changing the culture there now, basically starting a new chapter in Penn State, and how they felt they got snubbed this season, I think they're going to put a decent, I'm not going to say beating, but a really dominant performance against USC. And I say Penn State wins 31-24.
All right.
I just really like I said all year, I like Penn State after that win against Ohio State. It just really seemed like they're clicking, but hopefully them feeling like, them thinking they got snubbed really doesn't affect their composure coming into this game.
My biggest statement is what you're down to the wire game, but I have Ohio State beating Clemson 45-31, and the sole reason of that is Clemson's defense, in my opinion, and I've said it all year long, it's not what it was last year.
Hey, bud, I'm not going to lie. I was writing what. Okay, what did you say? I'm sorry. I heard you say Ohio State.
I said I have Ohio State beating Clemson 45-31, and the reason why is Clemson's defense isn't what it was last year.
Yeah.
So it's going to be difficult to stop the run game of Ohio State in the play action with JT Barrett throwing the ball. And then Ohio State's secondary, when I went up there and watched them play Oklahoma, is the fastest secondary I've ever seen in my life. And they are going to be Malik Hooker and all them boys in the secondary are going to be flying around the field. They are all ball hawks doing, and they are going to be pursuing that football thrown by Deshaun Watson. I have a feeling they're going to lock Mike Williams down hard. He's going to have under 100 yards. I mean, he's going to have his bad night for him, which is
100 yards. 100 yards.
I'm
is
saying
a bad
like
night for him.
I'm saying
Yeah.
like 80,
Oh.
maybe a touchdown, but they're going to be all over him like white on rice. But that's where my key factor is the Ohio State secondary slowing down the pass game of Deshaun Watson.
Okay. Well, before we go, I want to ask you this one question. If Urban Meyer and Nick Saban meet in the championship and Urban Meyer beats Nick Saban again, what does that mean for Urban Meyer and then also Nick Saban's legacy? Because this would be the only team, the only coach Nick Saban could not beat.
He's beaten Urban Meyer before.
No, I'm talking about back in the first playoff.
Oh.
Or second playoff, whichever one it was.
Can't
Can't remember, but I'm talking about with Ohio State and Alabama.
Oh yeah. I believe that Urban Meyer is one of the two coaches that have Nick Saban's number in
Okay.
America. And the other being, I hate to say this, but it's Bob Stoops. You don't think so, Nolan?
Man, I'm so happy Oklahoma beat Bama that year, but I really do think it was just kind of a,
I don't.
it was, yeah, no, I know what you mean. Oklahoma came to play, and we, beat the living dog crap out of them for 2.5 quarters, and then, finished them at the end. But, I'm not going to say it wasn't the coaching. I'm going to say it was the players that affected that game. But anyway, all right, update on the Minnesota thing. It was reports were wrong. They did not play Pee Wee hockey. They didn't mess up any snowmen. It was actually a single girl, apparently, maybe, I don't know, but report is indefinite suspension for Minnesota players stem from alleged September incident involving a female student. So 10 people and one female student. This doesn't look too good for the Golden Gophers. But as always, James, it was a pleasure screaming at you and watching you almost piss your pants.
Go join our bowl pick on bowl pick'em on Bowl Mania at ESPN.com. Sports Talk with Dylan is the group name. Change your pick style to straight and see if you can pick better bowl games than me, Dylan, and Garrett, who's not here.
Yeah, Garrett, we miss you, bud. Producer Zach. Hey, it's actually a really big day for Zach today. He broke an personal record today during our show. He broke his own record for most selfies taken during the show on Snapchat. So congratulations to you, man. Thank you for coming. Follow us on Twitter at dmarsh_52, MarshJD10, and then Zach, producer_Zach. So, do the Bowl Mania thing. That should be fun. I've already filled out my bracket, I believe.
It's just a pick 'em, Dylan, not a bracket.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Sorry. I'm already ready for March.
If you pick all 42 right on ESPN, you win $1 million.
And I look on doing that, especially with Washington. So, God, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous about that.
Look, you even know that they're going to get blown out.
Well, no,
Look
JD.
at your face.
No, I don't.
I'm so nervous.
But I feel no. I'm not nervous about them getting blown out. If they lose, they lose. Whatever. It's just the fact of I really want Washington to succeed. Like I'm just as nervous at this game as I was for Alabama OU, just because I want Washington to win so bad.
I think you just want to see Alabama fall.
Exactly. But I do see things in Washington that would help them. Like things that were a lot better than Oklahoma when they beat them. But again, it's not the same teams either way. Like in comparison
I
at all.
I think this is Nick Saban's best team he's ever had.
Well, we'll see. But honestly, if you just from the wise words of Coach Byron Dawson, head coach of Evangel Christian Academy here in Shreveport, that everything for this game sets it sets up for a trap game for Alabama, I think. Because you've got these 5-star, players, and that they listen to the media. And they're hearing that Bama's supposed to blow this team out. What do you think is going through their head right now? Do you not think they're looking forward to the national championship and not going to go into this game fully focused on Washington?
Do you think Nick Saban's whispering in their ear about, hey, 2 years ago, look what happened to us?
I know, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but that can only do so many things. Let's say if Nick Saban cut off all of their, internet on the phone and cable inside their locker room and dorm rooms, then maybe that would help. Because you can't stop a kid from going on the internet and reading an article about how their team is supposed to dominate this team. It's just a thing to where a coach can only do so much, and it's the coach has to implement that mindset into the players. Which I would not be shocked if they come in. Like I said, I would not be shocked if they come in and just like rip the head off of Washington. But I feel like Washington has so much more to prove, and that they're focused on this game alone. So you never know. It's going to be great. I'm actually excited for this bowl season. It starts Saturday, right? First bowl game Saturday.
Friday.
Is it Friday? So it's upon us, folks. So hurry up. Go fill out your bowl games.
Go to the very top.
Oh, Lordy. Yeah, that's the New Year's 6 games. It starts to... Oh, my gosh. It's going to take forever. But, okay, let me get my final thank yous in while we do this. But, again...
Yep. December 17th, first game.
Okay, yeah, December 17th. All right. It's, Grambling. 12 p.m. I'm going to watch
There's actually 2 games on December 17th.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
but,
maybe 3. 4,
again,
5, 6.
Thank y'all. JD, shut up. Thank you for joining us today. Again, thank y'all for coming in. Like our new Facebook page, Sports Talk with Dylan Marsh. I just created it like 2 weeks ago. Totally forgot about it. But then someone liked it, so it makes me want to get it going again. This podcast will be put on my Facebook as well. Subscribe to us on this YouTube channel. And as always, God bless. Hit.